Hello friends. So today you are going to visualize on the concept of what is motivation. So what is motivation? So motivation is something which is a passion for someone to consistently work on their goals and to achieve their goals and in turn into a dream. So this passion varies between person to person. So once it was said by a famous motivational guru, we can guess someone. He's of 78 to 80 years of age. He once said that without passion, you don't have energy. Without energy, you have nothing. Guess who? You can see that this famous entrepreneur and a management guru is none other than Warren Buffett. So what is passion? Passion is something you tune into regular life where you motivate consistently on your goal. Work on it. The goal which you are going on life can be anything. Getting up early in the morning at 5 a.m. is also a goal. Working on your routine life to convert into and transform one's life into something is also a goal. Studying better, day to day improving on your task, working on something passionately is also towards a goal. For me, getting up early at 4:30 a.m. is one of my main goals. So to start off my day, I actually get up at 4:30 a.m. every day. It's not like I'm motivating myself. Consistency is the key that evolves in one person to another person. So this consistency is the key factor which develops a person's motivation. You can't just directly get up at 5 o'clock or 4:30 a.m. on day one. This is a practice. This is like medication. This is like yoga which you do daily on a routine life. So this is motivation we are going to talk about. So let's move on to our next slide and determine the key factors and the features which have and which are what are the characteristics that involves in the motivation. So what is a motivation? Of course, everyone has their own perspective and own definition of the motivation. But this is once said that motivation can be understood as the desire or a drive that an individual has to get the work done. Motivation is something, it is like a desire, it is like an energy that revolves around an individual's perspective or individual's something like a feeling, something like an energy that involves, it depends upon the individual how the energy is being revolutionized. Sometimes it has to synergize with your thoughts, synergize with your clarity, the clarity of goals once you go into your life. This should have some connectivity so that this is like an energy that revolves around your workforce, revolves around an individual perspective among yourself. So the greatest potential for motivation is none other than of four, that is productivity, growth, leadership, and performance. This all is connected with an individual. Productivity is something you do consistently. This involves consistency, as said before. This can connect between growth. Once you do perfectly your things, you can see the personal growth and you can see the success rate in your life. This also transforms into one leader. Of course, each one in their own perspective, you are your own leader in your life. And this can connect into a performance, which also lies within an individual. His strong determination and willpower is what the individual, what yourself has to go through your life. You cannot motivate other people. It depends upon each perspective and one's goal to motivate them. You can just remove the obstacle from them. You can just remove the mental block. You can see when you travel through life, there are a lot of obstacles and a lot of things that gather around. But these obstacles cannot be vanished or cannot be done without anything. You can just remove the obstacles from them. You have to cross at one point of time. You have to cross the river at one point of time. You have to achieve the goals. You have to have the willpower and consistency in doing the same things again and again. Of course you will fail, but through this failure you have to learn through your experiences. These experiences will guide you and you can remove the obstacles. With that you can cross the path and achieve the success. Once a story of obstacle man, he saw everything in his life as an obstacle. So he faced a lot of critics and a lot of performance issues in them. So these obstacles, you break into smaller parts. So you have a small task, you break into small tasks so that each task when you finish, you will be motivated the day before. So what is motivation as an overview? Motivation is like a motor vehicle. It does not propel without fuel. So you have to regularly fuel it, maintain the vehicle which you are maintaining on a regular basis. So it is compared to motivation. People often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. So you have to do it regularly. That's what's been recommended daily, as said by Zig Ziglar. So here are the 5 steps to discover the power of motivation to get the best from the team. So this is very serious criteria where you have to overview the motivation. You can also see the steps on how to use it as a regular daily life. Step number 1 is praise. You can say praise. Praise are like wages. Praise are like something it determines as a key success rate to each and every individual. Even though they make mistakes, you praise them and you guide them in a proper path. This sincere and genuine recognition which you get from a person who determines as a public is a most effective way of motivating the people. So the genuine way in which the sincerity in you is determined, and the person or an individual who's saying this can actually have a boost in their confidence, and they will motivate it further and achieve their goals. Appreciating and acknowledging their good work does go through a long way in motivating people. You just don't need to criticize anyone or people on a success rate of the factor, on an overview that if they make mistakes, you just guide them in the proper path. You just fill their success rate. You just keep on motivating them on a consistent basis. Of course, they will develop the motivation, and one final day they will achieve their success and achieve their goal. Moving on, why motivation is important? In most of the organization, it is common to hear the refrain that a particular employee is not motivated. Of course, it depends upon the organization, how it is actually overviewing as an individual. If the motivation or the performance is low, of course the employee has to take a back seat. So the motivation also depends upon an employee's perspective as well as an employer's perspective. So he has to take care of the employees. So employees are his breathe of an organization, is the soul of the organization. He has to take care of all the employees' happiness, and you have to guide them in a proper way so that the motivation has been lasting. Employee must not feel that if he's been asking some important means or important criteria, he has to be regularly motivated. The work which is done by an employee, even though he makes mistakes, he has to guide, and he has to get a proper employer to motivate him through experiences. So once he started to do his work, once he actually refrain his work over and over again, he gets the motivation factor. Of course, he will bring in the success rate into the organization. So employees are the breathing soul in our organization. The reason for companies spending humongous amount of money in arranging for training session is that employees feel that recreational events is more important to motivate them on a consistent basis. Once a performer can also be a non-performer. This also depends upon a consistency phase where you take them on a step-by-step basis. The role of arranging a training session or a recreational events is not like the company wants to show that we are arranging a training events or like that. It depends upon even on one employee, one or 10th employee or a 10 employee on a company is being motivated through this training session. Even though there are 100 employees in a training session, if 50% of them gets benefited through this training session, this is an important success rate of the company and the organization. So that in order to motivate this employee is a key success rate for the organization. Even though you have a good infrastructure, even though you have a good means and good transportation facility, everything, each and everything, if the motivation of the employee doesn't come from within, if you're not able to motivate the employee on a consistent role on a daily basis, this also has a failure impact on the organization. So productivity always comes down depending upon the factor if you're not able to motivate the employee on the proper time. So productivity on the other part depends upon how the work is done. You cannot always aim on the employee on the importance of work. You should also go into their personal factor, their psychological factor, their essential factor. Masclows Heirachy theory is also connected towards these type of factors. The social needs, the psychological needs, the self-actualization needs. These are all interconnected. If he is not able to connect, if one is also has impact on his failure, the self-actualization needs to fulfill other needs becomes a great impact in the organization. So overall, bringing on to a concept of shrinking it, you can see motivation improves not just one but there are 7 categories where you can connect it in an interface. Motivation improves productivity. Productivity is an essential factor. Productivity depends upon an employee if the motivation is being corrected and it is being given on a proper rate. This also has a link towards performance. He can do maximum targets, he can achieve the targets, he can bring the company's performance into a higher rate, he can reduce the attrition rate also. This also connects between the profitability. Company is also driven by profit. So once an employee is able to perform very well, he can be able to maximize the profit of the organization. This also develops a professional relationship among the company between the employer and employers. The company's professional relationship is also maintained to the outside world of the company so that it can be projected as a good performing company in an overall basis. Of course, this also has an interconnection and interrelated between the teamwork. Employees are the soul and breathing of the company. So if the employees are all as a team, if they achieve their goal and remain and stay fit as a team, organization is also benefited through this important concept. Of course, the attrition rate also comes down because you have a lot of staff retention rate. The retention strategies which you do is also the final end where you want to see the employees are being retained, give them training, proper development, feedback sessions, suggestions, conclusions, and other feedback like 360-degree which has been done. This also reflects upon the performance of the employee, and the retention of the staff is being seen in a vast and wide verse of the brain. Moving on, motivation also has an impact on passion. Once a passion you do consistently, it becomes a passion, as I said before. First step is to motivate the individual or a team, is to understand what they like, what they want, what interests them. So if you don't know these factors, it depends and vary upon the individual to individual. It is very difficult to motivate them. Michael Schumacher once said, once something is a passion, the motivation is already there. So guys, each and every individual is unique. Identify your passion so the motivation is there and you can work on the strategies day by day. Opportunities. Second you need to know is that to look on the opportunities and the team member that matches the air. So the opportunities is already there. You have to develop the interest to make the opportunity into a great determination and achieve the goal. The opportunity which has been given, it's a golden rate of success to you. So utilize the opportunity in proper time and understand the need for the organization and achieve your development. And with this, the performance of each and every individual will increase. Give them opportunity because employees have to utilize each and every opportunity in the organization. This also develops their knowledge, their shared values, their consistency, their competencies, and in order to excel, they work on their goal. Providing opportunities to people is about getting them to move in a direction in them to go into the company of what they want. Their aim, their objectives, their specific objectives should be connected with the company's values. So the company has to establish a proper value, a proper objective, so that individuals and employees who are working within the company has to be linked towards the organizational goals and objectives. Work environment. This is the most important part where employees has to have a proper working environment, and this has to be taken care by the organization as well as the company. Motivating people is not just easier task. I can also day by day talk like this and put my soul, and even though I have to feel like hard to actually view, to actually see this video, at least motivate any one individual through this video, it's a really difficult task. But if you try again and again, you will definitely get motivated. So to motivate people involves a larger training, a larger continuous improvement. It's like a continuous improvement if you study in Kaizen process like that. It is like continuous improvement. On the day one, it will not start on the day one itself. It involves continuously. You have to have meticulous training, meticulous modular session, continuous improvement. You have to give them proper guidance, feedback. This never ends. This is a continuous aspect where an employee has to go through. So people have to create a positive work environment. Positive work environment, as I said before, it doesn't include any hazardous type of working environment. toxic working environment, people have to be motivated to come to work daily. Okay, today I'm going to come to work. Today I'm going to boost the morale of the employee. Today I'm going to do work which is they have to feel satisfied after they leave the workplace. That is what is important to give them a high performance rate. Make work environment very interesting and challenging for them. Even though if you have work environment very small, it doesn't matter. You have to prioritize things. You have to look into an employee perspective way. He is spending nearly 12 to 13 hours in an organization. The organization which is coming inside has to have a greater visualizing concept and greater environment, good environment, so that the employees can feel very much satisfied after leaving the organization. There has to be challenging tasks. There has to be fun at work. There has to be work-life balance as well. In most of the places, 58 or 62, if I'm not right, 58 percentage, more than 58 percentage of the people or the organization which they work doesn't have a proper work-life balance. This causes stress in their life, and this induces a lot of stress, so that the individual is not able to overcome their anxiety at work. This reflects